are listening to Voice of the Fans Sportscast, brought to you by none other than the voices of the fans.
Oh, Canada.
For Tuesday, the 14th of October, I'm Randy Katarey. This is Voice of the Fans Canada. We are live on YouTube at VOF Canada. Be sure to like and subscribe. If you aren't following us already on social media, find us at VOF Canada. Thank you so much for joining us. If you are, whether it is live or if you've caught us on the podcast network. Tonight, a few of us are licking our wounds after the Jays lost the first two games of the ALCS. Of course, that is against the Seattle Mariners. Games 1 and 2 were in Toronto, and now their backs are up against the wall with games 3, 4, and 5 in the Emerald City. There are a number of surprises that have taken place in the NFL, from the Buffalo Bills losing 2 straight. The Chiefs and the Eagles are struggling, coupled with the fact that teams who are 5-1, the Steelers, the Bucks, the Indianapolis Colts, we're 1 week away from the start of the NBA season. The panel will chat about their favorite teams, specifically the Knicks and the Raptors. And also, how bright will the spotlight be on number 1 overall pick Cooper Flagg this season, and will it shine for the whole year? Also, could Aaron Boone be back next year as manager of the Yankees? That and a lot more. The Roundtable is here, which includes, as most times, Neel Katarey. Neel, how are you?
Good to be back, Randy, as always.
Thank you, sir. And before I introduce the rest of the panel, I do want to show a small clip. By the way, Jake, I mean, as you are joining a roundtable with 3 Canadians, I do want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. I'm not sure if you are aware that it was Thanksgiving on Monday. So on behalf of all of us north of your border, happy Thanksgiving, sir.
Thank you. Wait, are you saying it was Thanksgiving where you guys are? Because Thanksgiving for me is in November.
Correct. Yeah. So in Canada, we celebrate.
Really?
We celebrate Thanksgiving the second Monday of October.
Wow, I did not know that. So I am learning things on the Voice of Canada.
It was 1 year ago tomorrow when our next panelist learned that we Canadians celebrate Thanksgiving in October. And he has been on the show several times. Always great to have him from south of our border. Jake Cardinale is back. Jake, how's it going?
I'm doing great, Randy. I'm getting ready to watch the Dodger game, and I'm doing great.
Yeah, it was a bit of a nail biter towards the end of the game. A lot more exciting than the ALCS, that's for sure. And joining us for the first time is a friend to me who shows a lot of passion and knowledge for sports when we do get together. She is counting down the moments to when our Raptors tip off against the Atlanta Hawks on the 22nd. So glad to introduce Kristine Sansano. Kristine,
Hi.
thank you so much for joining us. How's it going?
Thanks for inviting me. It's good. And like I mentioned, I'm getting over some sickness, but I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. You went to go visit your sister in Iowa for a couple of weeks, and you brought back a cold.
Yeah, it's great. I know.
Yeah, you know how to vacay.
Yeah, I do. Party hardy in Iowa. Yeah.
Right on. Party hardy in Iowa. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, thank you so much, the three of you, for joining me. And before we get started, I have to say, with all of the sports that have taken place from the MLB playoffs, and of course, we are in the heart of the NFL season, the NHL season. Basketball is set to go next week. The Olympics are going to be coming up this winter. Of course, the Paris Olympics were last year. There are so many times where I personally say to myself, man, it would be so cool to experience that moment, whether it was I don't know, whether it was Aaron Boone hitting that game series, that series winning home run against the Boston Red Sox all those years ago. And you think about the shot that Kawhi Leonard hit in Game 7 against the Philadelphia 76ers, maybe a couple of Hail Marys that won the big game. And as I open up the floor here, for me personally, Neel and I, we had a great round of golf a couple of weeks ago. And if, as a Canadian, golf is my favorite sport to play. And if I was a part of the President's Cup team, they did lose in Montreal. But if I was like a Mackenzie Hughes to represent my country playing the game of golf, I mean, that would just be something that I would absolutely take in a heartbeat. How about the three of you? I mean, if there was a sport where you'd be an athlete representing a city or even your country, what would that be?
I think for me, it'd be rugby. I think I just have a lot of like internalized rage. And I feel like
Okay.
for me, when I didn't, to be honest, I didn't really watch a lot of rugby until the Olympics in Paris.
Okay.
And when Ilona Mar was just like blowing up on socials and obviously rugby, and just watching a couple of rugby games, I'm like, oh, that'd be really good for my rage. I think just running and just pushing people in their face to get out of my way, I think that would be fun for me personally.
Okay. Thank God that I have a few inches of height.
You do, yeah. I'm always looking up at you. I'm like, yeah.
It's ironic you said that, Kristine, because Neel and I, we were talking about rugby and the women's Rugby World Cup and Canada making it to the final. And yeah, who knows? Maybe that might enhance the game in this country after that performance. Yeah. Neel, Jake, how about you?
For me, my first love has always been basketball, but I'm going to go a different direction because I was born and raised in Edmonton, and up until grade 9, I played pretty high level baseball, higher level than I ever played basketball. And we won a city championship in rep baseball when I was in grade 9. And I remember not being a great hitter. I started the season at the top of the order and I ended at the bottom of the order. But I was up there in the league leaders in stolen bases. And so I had a good fielding defensive game more than I could hit the ball. But sometimes I watch, and these big playoff moments, they kind of like give you a little bit of just a little imagination goes out there. And so maybe I'd go back to baseball.
Okay. Like were the Blue Jays big in Edmonton?
No, when I lived in Edmonton, I never followed any professional team except the Oilers. So they were my only pro sports love at that time. And then obviously, as soon as I moved to Toronto in grade 10, the Raptors quickly. It lined up exactly when Vince Carter was drafted.
Nice.
And so that quickly took over for me. And then the Bills on top of that now.
Right. I mean, very quickly before we get to Jake, I mean, obviously the Blue Jays have just really captured a lot of Canadians from coast to coast, Neel, as you're well aware. Like, do you know off the top of your head who Edmonton's team was in those days? Like, if you had to pick, like, I'm guessing maybe my U.S. geography compared to Edmonton is not that great, but maybe Seattle or maybe even the Dodgers. Do you have any idea, like what baseball team was popular in Edmonton when you were there?
I would not.
No, you wouldn't know. Okay.
Actually, but
yeah,
one would surmise that it would be a team like Seattle. They were going with Ken Griffey Jr. back then, and whoever else. But I wouldn't know, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
To be honest, it was probably the Blue Jays.
Yeah, you think so, huh?
That's Canada's team right there.
I wonder how popular the Jays would have been if the Expos were still around, let alone the Raptors, if the Vancouver Grizzlies, if the Grizzlies were around as well.
Another one, they might have been.
Yeah. Jake, how about yourself? Who, what kind of sport would you have loved to have been a pro athlete?
I just for my overall profession, I would have probably played baseball, similar to Neel. It was also that was my first love. I played it growing up. Also wasn't the best hitter in the world. Definitely didn't hit for any power. I might have had like 2 doubles my whole career. But I was a great first baseman. Helped being a lefty. I pitched a little bit. I would have loved to play that at a high level. You go 3 for 10. You're a Hall of Famer. So that's what I would pick. However, if I was like you mentioned, like playing for my home country, if I was representing the United States in the Olympics, honestly, I would probably be a track and field runner if I could. I've seen just the images of insert whatever track and field runner you want. I know whatever Jesse Owens way back in the day is obviously very, very famous. Not an American one, but he's an American, but Usain Bolt's very famous. Just the image of them like crossing the finish line and doing this with their medals just seems awesome. Also, I don't know why. When I was younger, when I was in probably like middle school all through high school, people used to always tell me you would be a really good track runner. I never understood it. I never had an interest in being a track and field runner. I mean, I played sports growing up, played baseball, played basketball. So I played a bunch of sports growing up, and I was relatively fast, I guess. But people used to always think I'd be a really good track runner when I was younger. I never understood it. I never tried it. I had friends who ran track and field, and they said it was really, really tough. I mean, like where I live, like I guess like during the week they have to run so that they stay in shape. I see them like running by my neighborhood, and then I keep going. I still see them running, so I never understood why people thought that I would be good at that. But a combination of I think it'd be cool to represent my country, do track and field, and for whatever reason, a lot of people when I was younger thought I would be good at that, and maybe trying to prove them right or wrong would be kind of funny.
Are you thinking short track or long track, like the longer distances? Like, do you have any? Did they specify? Because
no,
I don't know how Usain Bolt would do running a marathon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. But people used to always, when I was younger, they used to say, "Oh, you'd be good at track." I never understood that, but people said that about me when I was younger. But
fair enough.
They did.
Fair enough. You know, I gotta say, representing my country, like I did talk about golf. There's something about long track speed skating that I just am so enamored with. I mean, the grace and just the the power that is needed for that would be really cool. Like, I mean, I know it was short track, like they did really well in the Vancouver Olympics, and if I was to be a part of that, just winning a medal, period, it didn't matter what event, really. But long track speed skating, I thought was pretty sweet. Nice. Well, I'm sure a lot of people, whether it be in Jake's USA or in Canada for the rest of us, I'm sure a lot of people are wishing that they would be a baseball player. Not only the fact that the NLCS and the ALCS are happening as we speak, but man, they sure do make a ton of money. And Kristine, you had mentioned over the years how passionate a basketball fan you are, and that you are really taking to note about the Blue Jays. Like, how captivated are we talking about here?
Ooh, I don't know if the word's captivated. I think I'm just remembering like the 92-93 World Series back to back. I'm like, oh, I think it just lit a little bit of a fire in me to be like, oh, do we actually have a chance this year? So I think it's more of like heightened interest, I think, with the Blue Jays and MLB in general. And so for the ALCS, when we made it, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I never really watched MLB, to be honest, in the last, let's say, like 5 years. But a lot of my friends do. And so just tuning in to be like, okay, what's going on? And they did watch game 1. I'm like, okay, got on top of the 6. I'm like, okay, and then we lost. I'm like, okay. Yesterday, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to watch game 2. I think I'm too nervous. I watched the Bills and Falcons. They lost, so which is fine, whatever. I watched that instead, and then they lost 10. No, 10. Sorry, was it 10?
Now, wait, are you?
10?
Well, yeah, the Jays got pumped, but are you a
Yeah.
Bills fan? Because Neel is. We're going to be talking to Neel about his Bills in moments, and it might
Ooh,
be a
am
tough
I a
time.
Bills fan? I think by proximity, I am.
Yes.
I think I haven't watched enough football. The last time I watched like end-to-end was like a full season of football was probably pandemic times, maybe, or post-pandemic time, like 90 or 2021. And I was a Rams fan because I just liked how they played. And I kind of fell off. But I think by proximity, I am a Bills fan.
Yeah. I pledge allegiance to the Buccaneers, but I got to tell you, I think I know a heck of a lot more about the Bills, especially since they've been doing so well and getting so close to making a Super Bowl. But back to baseball. And Neel, you were at Game 2.
Yeah.
We were talking before we went to air, and it was a tough tough game for those Blue Jays. If you want to talk about, actually, why don't we talk about that experience, Neel? I mean, I don't know if that was your first time going to a Jays playoff game. I actually went to Game 2 of the ALDS Jays Rangers. It was a series when Batista hit the bat flip, had the bat flip. It was a Game 2. It was a different game, but the game went 14 innings. Jays lost, but such an incredible atmosphere. I could imagine that the atmosphere was something you hadn't experienced, especially from a baseball perspective.
Yeah, I unlike the Raptors, where my playoff success has been excellent for a game.
Oh boy, we appreciate that, Neel.
But unfortunately, I think I'm a bad luck charm for the Jays because the only other playoff game I went to was also against Seattle in the wild card round three years ago, or 3 or 4 years ago, and we got swept in 2 games. And I went to Game 2, and I believe we lost 10-1 or something of that nature. So I've been to 2 blowouts, both to Seattle, and have left dejected both times. It was probably dejected halfway through the game both times. So. Yeah, I wish the experience was better. I really wanted to see something that came down to the wire. I still really wanted to see a big moment. Just never got that chance, unfortunately. And now we're in dire straits,
Yeah.
But,
I mean, sorry, please go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's really what it comes down to. But the electricity leading up to it, the experience of being in the stadium, just seeing how all the fans, full packed house, that was a sight to behold, 100%.
Yeah, and going to the those Jays games all those years ago when Rogers Center first opened to just any regular season game during those World Series days. I mean, just a packed house of over 52,000 people. It was incredible. And now the experience is just so much more heightened with the LED lights and the louder music and such. But I mean, Toronto definitely loves their playoff baseball. But what about as a whole, Neel, with regards to this playoffs? I mean, between the Jays and the Yankees and the Jays, these first 2 games is against Seattle going 15 innings. I mean, had anything jumped out at you and as a surprise for this playoff so far?
I think in general, and I know that playoffs pitchers tend to raise their game, but it seems like the pitching in this year's playoffs has been like really incredible. The amount of games that we've had where these guys are getting double-digit strikeouts, we're getting record-setting 14 strikeouts and then 13 for Skubal in his 2 starts. Schlitter had an amazing high strikeout game. Savage. It seems like the pitching is even better than usual for the playoffs, and across the board, to be honest, except the Yankees, of course, but no salt to rub there. But other than that, to be honest, the biggest surprise to me, which is not really a surprise because I was high on this team just as an observer of the sport, not anything to do with Jay's bias, but it's Seattle. Seattle is not only did I see them as a dark horse to make the World Series, but they have not only done that, they've done it with just an incredible level of play. And that 15 inninger in the ALDS was one of the greatest games I've ever seen. The tension that was just like ongoing with every single pitch from the 8th inning onward, it just was incredible. After Carpenter hit that 2-run homer to tie it up, and then maybe Seattle tied it in the 7th, perhaps. But I just have never seen a more tense game that I can remember. How every single pitch, it seemed, was just like the emotion that was coming out of the pitchers. Bazardo pitched a masterpiece in his few innings, and then Castillo comes in and Gilbert comes in. All the starters come in, and just how Seattle showed, I think, a very underrated degree of toughness, not only winning that game, but then how they responded in game 1, which everyone thought the Jays are just going to walk all over these guys, and just as if we don't even need to prepare. And that really, I think, bit the Jays in the butt, because what we failed to realize as a whole is that we were running into a team that was battle hardened like a diamond, and we were getting soft in the break. And so I would say that the pitching, the high level of pitching, and then Seattle's run to this point has been, I would say, the most surprising thing for me.
Yeah. Jake, I'd love to get your comment on Seattle's game 1 performance, especially, traveling to Toronto in the middle of the night after that 15-inning marathon. I mean, do you think that is a little overblown? I mean, look, Seattle is not, a hop, skip, and a jump. I mean, it's halfway across the country. They had to go into another country. They had to play within 36 hours, give or take, less than that. But I mean, they are traveling in a luxury airliner and so on. But what do you think? I mean, how impressed were you with Seattle's game 1 performance?
I mean, they played really well. I'm not that surprised they're up 2-0, but not, to be honest. I think they're the better ball club. I picked them to win the series, and I do think that the travel part is a little bit overblown. First of all, in MLB, you play 162 games. Okay, you play every day. You don't have very many off days. These guys, they travel all the time. You mentioned, they have very famous, not famous, but they fly first class. They they don't have to book. They're not booking the flights themselves either. They have travel people for that. Every sports team in every league, every pro sports league has that. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't know how far Seattle is from Toronto. I haven't taken a geography class since I was 15 years old, and I was never very good at it.
I'm guessing what 6 hours, maybe. Neel?
Sure.
Yeah, 6 hours, give or take.
Yeah, it's that's not that long of a flight. I mean, they're going to a different country, but Canada isn't that different from the U.S. They're not going to Bulgaria or something like that. Let's not pretend like they're going to Australia or something. So I don't think the travel part is that. I do think it's a bit overblown. I'm not that surprised. I just think Seattle is a better baseball team.
So what about in terms of you with regards to the surprises of the season, Jake? I mean, between the Jays' dominance over the Yankees, and if you want to talk about any sort of surprises that also took place, Trey Savage's performance in that Yankee series as well. Anything surprising to you?
I was definitely really impressed by Schlittler when he pitched against the Red Sox. You mentioned that rookie goes 8 innings, 12 strikeouts. He was dominant. I was very impressed by Savage as well. When he pitched against the Yankees, he didn't even get a hit. That guy was fantastic. Toronto overall did surprise me this year. I didn't think they'd be as good as they were. I didn't think they'd be a terrible team. By any means, I did not have them in the postseason. Going into the year, and they won 94 games, and they had the best record in the American League. Now they're in the LCS. So they did surprise me. For the National League, I guess there weren't that many surprises. Yeah. Overall, it's just kind of a weird year. There was more teams that kind of did disappointed and then were surprisingly good. I would say. I mean, going into the year, I don't think I had Seattle in the ALCS, but going into the playoffs, I did pick them to win the whole thing.
Okay. Fair enough. But Sorry, Neil, you were saying?
I'm just saying that call's looking pretty good right now.
Yeah. And now, Neil, the Raptors were down 2-0 to the Bucks, and you know what happened that season. So.
I heard a lot.
We were coming back home to Toronto, and now we got to go to Seattle.
Well, hey, whatever. I mean, that's just semantics. But
I've heard a lot of Toronto make that comparison in terms of their chances being down 2-0.
I heard it was like less than 6% or something. Teams who are in Toronto's position I can win the series.
I wouldn't be surprised. Going down 2-0 and then going on the road is very, very tough.
But there is a chance, Jake. You have to believe, my friend.
There's a chance. There's also a chance that Sydney Sweeney comes to my house.
Well, when that happens, tell her I said hello. But Jake, of course, when you have teams like the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Cubs, maybe you could throw in the Astros, I guess. But I mean, there are the ALCS is being represented by Toronto and Seattle. They don't really have a lot of nationwide appeal in your country. The Cubs, the Cubs certainly does. The Yankees do. I mean, you think, in a general sense, in the United States, that interest has dropped in the ALCS because it is the Brewers and the Mariners and the Jays?
Not at all. I don't really understand why some of these people, when there's like, what you want to call them, lower market teams, or whatever you want to call them, teams with not as big payrolls as New York or Los Angeles. My question to people who like bring that up is like, do you get a portion of the revenue from the league or something? You don't? Well, then shut the hell up, okay? That's my take on it. I don't like when people talk about, oh, the ratings are going to be low. I don't care if the ratings are going to be low, okay? MLB brings in billions of dollars in revenue every single year. They're going to be fine. I mean, yes, I'm sure they would prefer the Yankees be in it for, selfishly, because they're bringing more money, but they're going to be fine. From a fan perspective, I mean, I was very excited for this series. This is about what I thought it was going to be. Both teams are very good. They built this thing the right way, but for playing well going into the playoffs, they played well so far. Toronto beat the Yankees. Thank you very much, Blue Jays. And Seattle had that great series with the Detroit Tigers. So I'm very excited for this series. I don't think the interest level is dropped at all.
But, you have to admit, Jake, that media coverage is what it is. I mean, I don't think Mariano Rivera would get a unanimous Hall of Fame nomination if he was playing for the Arizona Diamondbacks. I don't think Derek Jeter would have that kind of reverence if he was playing for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I mean, let's say that the Pirates did win, 5 World Series like Jeter did? Or 4, whatever it is. No, 5. I don't think that Pittsburgh would still get that kind of praise. I mean, that World Series last year, and sorry to put you on the spot if you don't know, I understand, but I can imagine that last year's World Series was so highly watched because it was Yankees-Dodgers, no?
I think it's possible because whatever team won, it was relatively embarrassing. The Dodgers, you go out and sign Ohtani, you defer all those contracts, you have a ridiculous payroll, you don't win at all. That's a failure of a season. And the Yankees, you go out and trade everything for Juan Soto, knowing it's probably a 1-year trial. And so either team kind of had a lot to lose by losing that World Series, so that definitely was part of it. They were too, but the top team, the Dodgers were the 1 seed the entire league. The Yankees, I think, were like the second or third best team in the league last year. So I think that was part of it. I didn't love watching it at times. Well, I shouldn't say that. It was very funny whenever the Yankees screwed up. I've texted a lot of my Yankees fans.
For the record, Jake is a Mets fan, so
yeah.
My team sucks, so I figure I like throwing the Yankees when I can.
I feel like there's like a national hate or just a regular hatred of the Yankees. That's kind of what I read. Rabbit hole. A lot of people don't really like the Yankees, so that's what I learned this year.
Exactly, but just the Dodgers and Yankees. It was basically like if you go to Vegas and you bet on the house to win, kind of thing. which I prefer what we're having this year. We're gonna have. I mean, the Dodgers might make it there, but if we get like Brewers against whoever wins the ALCS, that for me that would be beautiful.
Yeah, I think it would be pretty cool. But Neel, Jake had mentioned a few things there with the travel not being that big a deal for Seattle, coming from Seattle from Game 5 to Toronto for Games 1 and 2. But home field advantage is what it is, and now the Jays are in a huge hole. But how much was an opportunity lost by that Game 1 performance? I mean, obviously, Game 2 was just a complete. It was just utter domination by those Mariners. But I thought that the Jays really, really needed to take that game.
Yeah,
Game 1 at least.
100%. It was a catastrophe, and I don't use that word lightly, but I also don't think it's an overstatement in this scenario. Like Seattle had just played 15 innings, and the pressure of those last six innings was incredible. It was more, I don't want to just throw a number out there. It was insane pressure that probably took so much energy of mental fortitude, physical energy to overcome and win that game. And then, yes, they celebrated and they were right back at it. And anybody, both staunch observers, casual observers, they would say they looked at this game like the Jays are going to have an easy path to a Game 1 victory. Gausman is throwing heat, and he did throw heat for the most part, even in Game 1. I thought that Schneider managed a really, really good ALDS, and he kind of dropped the ball in Game 1, taking Gausman out early. I thought, he had given up 1 or 2 hits only, and Homer just happened to walk. But I mean, our bullpen has not been our strength, in my opinion, and there's been some issues there. And when you got a guy throwing the way he is, I don't think you take him out so likely when he's only at 70-something pitches. And so maybe that would have been the difference. But I think overall, like I said before, we underestimated the fact that pressure makes diamonds. And the pressure was of the most ultimate sense in that 15-inning marathon for Seattle. And they came out and they roasted us like a diamond would. They hit us in the head and they didn't look back. And then they just backed it up yesterday. I think that the Jays showed that although the season has been above and beyond our wildest expectations, that perhaps mentally they're not ready. And obviously Bo Bichette would have been a great addition had he been able to play. Seattle's fully healthy, all that type of thing. But they still had to go out and bring in Bryce Miller, not one of their aces. Okay, and he pitched like an ace. Basically, first pitch was a Springer homer. After that, he had one single to Santander, or maybe a double on an error. I can't remember, but one hit the rest of the game. And that was the rest of the game after him as well. It was basically a no-hitter for all intents and purposes. Mm-hmm. And I mean, he just pitched a masterful game and totally saved Seattle's ass. If he doesn't pitch again in this series, I'd probably give him ALCS MVP after that performance, to be quite honest. Well, who deserves it more at this point, right?
I mean, at this point, God, it's anybody's guess. I mean, I didn't go through the.
But I was reading
very
up on
intimately.
Him.
But
I mean, I was reading up on
he
him
pitched
before.
a hell of a game.
He did not have a good end to his season. He did not really have a good season as far as the Seattle squad. And, it would have been probably Castillo or Gilbert pitching in that game had that 15-inning marathon not happened. So a lot of things just didn't go our way, and now it's kind of deflating. Being down 0-2 is even more deflating, and this is going to be an extremely, like he said, Sidney Sweeney type situation to overcome this. Okay.
So, man, it's just more and more of me hoping that the Jays win, so I could clip Jake's comment about Sidney Sweeney.
Yes.
And as a man who's
you always do that away.
Say it again.
You could do that away, but it would be a lot funnier if the Jays win.
Oh man, that'd be great. For somebody who's also single, Jake, I really hope Sydney can stop by my place as well. But anyway, I mean, Kristine, before we step aside from baseball, like we've seen this before. Toronto FC makes a run in MLS Cup, Cup final a couple times. They won in 2017. The entire city of Toronto was captivated with the Raptors winning the championship in 2019. Who knows what this city is going to be like when the Leafs will actually win a second round playoff series? But with regards to the Jays, like, you see your interest rise with baseball, especially if the Jays can actually have some solid seasons going forward?
I think my answer is yes. I think for me at best, I'm like a bit of a bandwagoner Jays fan. When they're losing, I'm like, oh, I don't want to watch. But when they're winning, I'm like, oh, this is really interesting. And I think after they won the ALDS against the Yankees, I was just kind of watching the post game, like with May, and just people getting the pictures taken and stuff. And I think what I really liked about this Jays crew is that they're very much, and they've said it in the interviews, is that they're very much like a tight-knit family. And so I think a lot of, and what I've heard and what I read is a lot of their kind of like their game decisions, hitting decisions is very much like a team thing versus like an individual thing. And I think that's what makes me want to watch when they're not just in it for their individual selves, but for the team. And so for me, I think if this crew, if they can make it out of this hole, that would be cool. And I think for me, my interest in, I would say Jays first, then baseball, would definitely be increased for the next season. I think if this crew is the same for next year, or at least their chemistry is the same for the next season, I think for me that's really interesting, and that resonates with me for sure.
Yeah, because it just seemed that between and the manager as well. I mean, Jake, you must have loved. I'm sure you caught Schneider's toast when the Jays beat the Yankees, and just all those F-bombs, and it was wonderful. And they definitely have a charisma that's really captivated the city of Toronto and the country for that matter. But Kristine, I got to tell you, with regards to the Buffalo Bills, my interest has certainly peaked. I mean, Neel has been a Bills fan for many, many years, even those during those dark times. Hey, the Bills. We'll see what happens with this current funk that they're in, but it seems that there is a little bit more interest, especially around here, because of those Bills and maybe some other teams. What about yourself? Like, where's your interest in football? Do you have a favorite team?
I don't have a favorite team yet.
Okay.
I will say back in the days when there were dark Bills times, I think it was in elementary school. I think one of my classmates had said when they lost, the Bills stood for, like BILLS stood for boy, I love losing Super Bowls, and that stuck with me since. And I'm like, I really, really hope that they win something. I really hope. Well, Josh Allen, I feel like he deserves something. He just, when I watch him, well, not yesterday's game because that game sucked, but anytime I'd seen him in previous seasons, I'm like, he's like, when he loses, he's just kind of beside himself, and he really just wants the best for himself and the team. And so I think for me, I like the NFL more than the MLB, I will say. And so my interest in the NFL is a little bit more captivating. I will use that word for NFL, captivating.
Okay.
And for me, I think one of the things for me is the whole Aaron Rodgers thing coming back from injury. So he was with the Jets for like a year or something, right? And he was injured the entire year. And now who's he playing for?
Pittsburgh.
Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, that's kind of like a redemption arc for him. I'm like, even though I don't really like him, but a little bit of a redemption arc for Aaron Rodgers, be like, you know what? Yeah, I sucked. I didn't play for a whole season, but look what I can do. And so for me, I think NFL is a bit more captivating to watch than MLB.
Yeah. Jake, you are a Jets fan, correct?
Where's your paper bag?
I mean, Jake, like, I don't know if you can recall what your feeling was like before the start of last season when Rodgers signed with those Jets, and of course, what it was the first play or the third play where he tore
4 plays in. It was 2 years ago.
2 years ago, and now his Steelers are 4-1. How surprised are you between that? Is that like the biggest surprise with the Colts and the Bucks doing so well? And are you more surprised about the Eagles and the Chiefs kind of struggling, let alone the Bills who lost to those Patriots, who could also be a surprise, as well as the Atlanta Falcons?
I'm definitely more surprised that the Eagles and the Bills are struggling. I could have bet anything that Aaron Rodgers was going to go to the Steelers and play well. That's the most Jets thing to possibly happen. But I didn't think the Colts would be this good, but it is kind of crazy when you give a quarterback an offensive line. Look what happens with Daniel Jones. He's played a lot better with an actual offensive line and an actual organization with actual structure. But if there was going to be someone who was going to be like, the next Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold, was high draft pick, was a bad team, was bad. The league kind of gave up on him, and then eventually he goes to a new team and just kind of magically figures it out. He was always that guy that I think it almost made too much sense. I didn't think it was going to happen because I just never thought he was good, but he's been a little bit better. The Eagles, I thought they'd still be an elite team. That team's been a little more problematic than I thought. And the Bills, I thought their defense would be better than it has been this year. We all know what Josh Allen is. James Cook's been really good. I will say, I thought they'd go out and get another receiver in the offseason. They really didn't. So that's also a problem. But defensively, I thought they'd be a better group. They haven't been great so far.
So in terms of Daniel Jones, Jake, so he leaves New York. You mentioned, hey, if you have an offensive line and a team with structure, is it any surprise? Essentially, I'm paraphrasing what you said, but are you surprised that Daniel Jones is actually having this kind of season? I mean, couldn't that be for anybody? Let's say, okay, you're a Jets guy, Mark Sanchez. Me in football, I don't know that much about football. Let's say that Mark Sanchez had an offensive line. Maybe he could have done a couple of things. No?
Well, I think the thing with Sanchez is at the time, that was the last time Jets actually had an offensive line.
Yeah.
And those first 2 seasons, so with that, I mean, he's obviously gone off the deep end recently.
I know.
That's another story. But I think nowadays the NFL is not good at developing quarterbacks. They've become really bad. You see a lot of guys flop. You see, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield. You see a couple of these guys. They get drafted really high.
Sure.
They go to a bad team, a really bad organization, does a terrible job building around them. They change the offense every year, and they're really bad. They get let go. They go somewhere else, and all of a sudden they turn into a pretty good quarterback. Baker Mayfield is lighting it up with the Bucs. Sam Darnold's playing good football with the Seahawks. It's just you can't just throw a rookie quarterback behind just this brutal offensive line. You can't just fire a coach every single year. Like a lot of teams now, they'll keep a coach 1 year too long and fire him after the first year, and then they have to learn a new system, and then that coach isn't very good. The Titans have been doing that. The Bears do a lot. The Jets do a lot. The Giants do that. What do all those teams have in common? They have not had success recently, really at all, and they're very bad organization. So it goes a long way. I've always said an elite offensive line can make a mediocre quarterback look elite, but if a really good quarterback, if he has a bad offensive line, can look a lot more like a middle of the road quarterback.
Yeah. I did wonder, Jake, if there is something about quarterbacks waiting a year or two. Like off the top of my head, I remember Aaron Rodgers took a while to actually get his moment because of Brett Favre was still with the Packers, and
Same with
Jordan Love. Yeah, Jordan Love, ironically enough, with Aaron Rodgers. I think Steve McNair took a little while to get his chance. Andrew Luck maybe as well. Like they weren't rookies who were thrown into the spotlight. It seems that but I mean, like now you're seeing well, I guess Drake May was drafted last year, right? But didn't the kid from Atlanta, Penix, was he drafted this year or last year?
Last year.
Yeah, they
It
didn't
was
play
last
until
year.
very late last year. Yeah,
So,
last season.
but I mean, 1 year and they get thrown in. Do you guys think that's a little too rushed?
I think it depends on the quarterback. Like, look at Patrick Mahomes. He was ready from day one, and he won. I mean, yes, he only started the last game of his rookie season. I get that part, so maybe he doesn't really fall in. But I feel like had he started from day one, he would have been spectacular. And he won the MVP the next season in his first full season. So he would have been ready. And then there's guys like Cam Ward this year, the number 1 pick. Now this was a weak QB class. But then not only that, like to Jake's point, everything is about situation in the NFL. NFL, more than any other sport, situation determines success. And that goes from coaching to your lines to how your overall play calling, to be honest. And it all matters, especially for a quarterback. A quarterback can do a lot to elevate a franchise, but a quarterback can similarly be capped by a franchise. And in this scenario, like Cam Ward is looking really, really horrible. But then again, you go back to all of these guys we just mentioned. Sam Darnold starting with the Jets for the first few years. He gets canned, but really looking back now, you got to think it was more the Jets, not Darnold. And then similarly with Baker, he had some decent times in Cleveland, but he immediately took a huge level up almost immediately once he got to I think he had a brief stop in Carolina, and then he went to Tampa Bay, and Pro Bowler every year pretty much, or at least at that level. And now he's a top 3 MVP candidate this year. And so you can't say enough about like Baker, the type of toughness he has. That play he had on 3rd and 14 like a couple days ago just was probably the most incredible play I've seen this year, and the toughness he has. But yeah, and then you got guys like who were not great, and then they maybe went like Justin Fields. He went to the Steelers last year. He had some decent moments, enough that the Jets thought, oh, we got a pretty decent chance at this guy. He goes to the Jets, and immediately he's terrible again. And there's this funny stat with Justin Fields. I'll just mention it now that I mentioned his name, that he's 0-27 in his career when the other team scores 21 points.
0-27.
And not only that, this past Sunday against Denver, he had 9 pass completions and he was sacked 9 times. The last time a quarterback had 9 or less completions and was sacked 9 or more times was 3 years ago, and that quarterback was Justin Fields.
You're kidding.
Look, sometimes you're just not meant for the big time, and maybe his time will come. Maybe he needs that perfect situation. I got to say, I'm really impressed with Sam Darnold, though, because after he had left Minnie and the year with Minnesota kind of ended, fizzled out because he had some bad performances at the end of the season and in the playoffs. But he is completely balling right now in Seattle, and he has turned that franchise around. Their defense is smacked with injuries right now, and he continues to lead them to wins upon wins. Obviously, he's got the best receiver in the league, or at least a top 3 receiver, but and it looks like that's a team on the rise for sure. Could win the division very easily. But yes, I do think that there's some merit to letting guys come along, but it's difficult in the NFL because you got to have the right scenario for them to come along. You got to have a starter in there that maybe you're not planning to have for a few years. What happens there? There's been sticky situations all along NFL history with that sort of thing, and it becomes a very difficult thing to predict. At the same time, you may ruin the guy's confidence before he even has a chance to be great.
Right? Yeah. Right. Sure.
Yeah, so it's tough, but organizations matter a lot.
Yeah, and
team chemistry.
Yeah,
chemistry. Yeah,
certainly. I mean, what kind of teams? I mean, Kristine, remember those Portland Trailblazer teams, the Jailblazers? I'm pretty sure that they're not that they really didn't go to church together.
No,
those guys.
They did not. No.
Yeah. And since you guys brought up Baker Mayfield so much, Jake, I don't know what Walmart's online store is like, but I picked up the creamsicle Baker Mayfield jersey for like
wow.
$50 Canadian, which is like
Wow.
$4.75 American. And no, but yeah. So Neel, Kristine, well, actually, all three of you, yeah, give Walmart's app online store a try because you can find some serious gems.
Nice to know.
But Neel, I thought this was supposed to be a gem of the season for the Buffalo Bills. I mean, what's been going on lately, buddy? And they got very quickly. They now have company on the atop the AFC East. How much of a surprise is this for you?
Well, to be honest, I'm not completely surprised because
Really?
I think when you're a team, and this goes, in NFL, all sports really, I believe, is that when you've had this sustained success where you're constantly, your expectation is Super Bowl or bust, and you've made it far, you've made deep playoff runs, anything short of the Super Bowl, you've done it over and over, and the Bills are that team. It lends itself to some lackadaisical play at the start of the regular season. Perhaps guys come in with a sense of entitlement to a degree. They don't maybe come in as hungry at the beginning, knowing that their hunger will get louder and louder closer to the playoffs. I feel like that's happening with Buffalo because, as Jake said, outside of James Cook and Allen's doing what he does, people are playing well. They're not playing great. The defense is injured right now, but also not a good unit, especially against the run. Terrible. But that being said, Ed Oliver, our best run stopper, has been out until now. That was a surprising loss yesterday, but I do think it's just some early season entitlement and laziness, to be honest, that can be accounted for here. And when you talk about the Patriots, there you have a hungry team, a team that has not had success since Brady, who come in, and I thought they were going to be a playoff team this year from the start of the season. I predicted them for 9 or 10 wins, and they probably might surpass that now. But Drake May, when I watched what this kid did last year, I said this kid's special, and he is special. And he has some of the gaudy stats from quarterback rating perspective, under pressure, best rating in the league type stuff, or an elite rating against pressure, elite completion percentage against the blitz, those type of things. He's rejuvenated Diggs. He's not doing it with like great players. He's got like Diggs and Hunter Henry are his top options. He's got not great running backs either. This kid Henderson was great at Ohio State, but he hasn't really come on yet. Ramondre Stevenson's fumbling every third snap. But they're still winning, and that Bills win. And granted, that was Stephon Diggs at his finest, but that was also Drake May at his finest. And some of the throws he was making were just incredibly on point.
Yeah.
On the road in Buffalo, division opponent, like primetime. It was so impressive to see that. And I'm very impressed by the Patriots. I don't think that they're a threat to the Bills this year or maybe even next year, but actually maybe next year they will be. It's a couple more pieces, and I think this is where you talk about once again. I don't even remember the coach that they had last year. He was a former Patriots player, but he only lasted a year. Now they bring in Mike Rabel, who was a Bills Ring of Honor, NFL Hall of Fame type, linebacker, who has a great coaching resume with the Titans already under his belt. And then you bring in probably the greatest offensive coordinator in history, which is Josh McDaniels, also one of the worst head coaches in history, but happens to be one of the offensive coordinators in history, back to where his old stomping grounds where he's won 6-7 Super Bowls. And that's exactly what Drake May needs. And so the team is much more built for success this year than they were last year. And so you keep the pieces the same and you completely overhaul the coaching and the play calling, and you have the result of worst to first type of situation. They won't be first, but they certainly are gone from dungeon to upper class.
Yeah.
They're showing it every week. So, they're a definite threat, 100%. But I think right now they're more of a threat to the rest of the AFC than they are to Buffalo.
I feel so bad for not so much Bills fans, Neel, but the city of Buffalo. I mean, they have been so snake bit with regards to the Sabres and the Bills. And I mean, Buffalo is not really the most exciting city on earth either. Like, I want some happiness for Buffalo. I really do.
Yeah.
Jake, this might be a bit of a sticky spot for you being a Jets fan, but whatever. I mean, my feelings are what they are. I can imagine Kristine's feelings are getting pretty excited with the NBA season coming up. But, Kristine, this offseason, it was really drab. And
Yes.
I mean, it was really cool to see Shea Gilgeous-Alexander winning an MVP and the championship and bringing some glory to Hamilton, which is obviously down the street from Yumi and Neel. But in terms of past off seasons, I personally think that this off season for basketball has been an absolute disaster. Nothing happened free agent wise, and we're going to get into the whole debacle with the Clippers and Adam Silver and the streaming contract plans that he has for viewership. Like, how excited are you? Not only for the Raptors, but just for the NBA season altogether.
I think I'm a little bit middle of the road for this season, only because, and maybe I'm just like a whatever fan, but like with just a couple big injuries, with like Tatum's out this season, Halliburton's out this season, so it's kind of like, well, who are your guys now, right? So, anyways, for me, it just I love to watch the Raptors. It doesn't matter if they're winning or losing. So for me, I'm excited to kind of see the new guys, play. I caught maybe the last quarter of that last preseason game against Washington with that buzzer beater layup. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. You're scrappy. You want to win. And it's just preseason. So, I mean, like, if you care about preseason, you might be pretty good in the regular season. So for me, I'm excited to just watch the Raptors and really just any team, to be honest. I'm a basketball girly at heart. So I'm excited for the new season to start.
Yeah. It's a really good point you made, of course, with Lillard and Halliburton and why there's a third Tatum. Thank you. 0-0-0. Those three guys, and they are done for the year. Jake, Raptors aside, and I'm not saying that they're on pace for 60 wins, but you got to think that the New York Knicks, Jake, are on the right track. I mean, they replaced Tom Thibodeau, but what kind of core do they have with Brunson and Anunoby, Karl Anthony Towns? I'm thinking that this is New York's conference. What about you?
They're hungry.
Yeah, this is the year for the Knicks to come out of the Eastern Conference. Okay, they were in the second round 2 years in a row. Last year, you got to the conference finals, beat the Celtics. And you lose in the conference finals last year. You make the coaching change. I think me, you, and Neel, and I think Matty Hoffman, who's also in the Armchair Discord with Randy and I, talked about the coaching change, about letting go of Tibbs. Yeah, obviously, Mike Brown's now the head coach there. But they have a really good team. Brunson's a fantastic player. Karl Anthony Towns is a very good offensive player. He doesn't play a whole lot of defense, but he can score. Bridges was a massive overpay, terrible trade. Not necessarily a bad player, though. OG's a good player, and they have a legit bench now. They added some depth, which was really what was the biggest need. The whole issue last year was at times they struggled against the top teams in both conferences. It's like this team, they've made so many moves. It's like, what else is there to do? You have a star in Jalen Brunson who can close out games in the playoffs. You have other complementary offensive weapons like Karl Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby, and Mikal Bridges. I was shocked their defense was as bad as it was last year because you go from Cat to Hartenstein, so that at center, so that was going to downgrade your defense a lot. You also have a relatively healthy OG Anunoby, him for a full season, and you have Mikal Bridges, so that was a bit of a red flag. But they had a couple of bench pieces. You had Jordan Clarkson, you had Malcolm Brogdon. Much more to get out of Mitchell Robinson, but I like to see them run the double big as much as they can because Towns is not a 5. He should be playing power forward, not center. But you mentioned Tyrese Halliburton is injured this year, so the Pacers, I assume, will take a step back. I assume the Celtics will do the same. The Bucks, who were that much threat even with Damian Lillard, Giannis has not been happy. There's been trade talks throughout the whole offseason. I don't expect a whole lot out of them. And I look at that conference, I'm like, it's them, maybe Cleveland, Orlando might be a little bit better now if they trade for Desmond Bain. Yeah, granted they have a lot of draft picks, but he is a very good player and filled the need for them because he can shoot. But this is the year for them to come out of the conference for sure.
100%.
How much of a difference? Sorry, Neil.
No, I'm just agreeing. I think this would be this is the next year to come out, and it would be a big disaster if they don't. It would honestly, the expectations for them are super high from myself as well. I love their team. Like I've always loved the core guys. Brunson, always been one of my favorite players. Just his demeanor, the way he plays, unselfishness, but also he's a dog among dogs. Like he's a pit bull. And I thought Towns, the whole team played fantastic last year. The big problem was that they were overused and they didn't have good support. And now
they didn't play the bench. Yeah, that was a huge problem. I'm like, oh my god, you're the worst coach.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that they've fixed all those things. They've brought in maybe just a different voice, because I don't think that there's much separating Tibbs and Mike Brown as far as coaching talent or defensive coaching, which is their forte. I just think it's a different voice, and maybe it'll get these guys a little more amped up and ready. But yeah, I totally think it's the next year to be a big issue in New York if they don't make the finals this year.
I mean, Neil, you're talking about coaching talent. How good was Tibbs at that? Because I mean, the deal with Tibbs is that he just drags out his starters and he doesn't use his bench, and the same thing happened with Chicago. I mean, is Mike Brown known for that as well? And if not, how much of a difference would last year have been for the Knicks if Mike Brown was the coach and not Tom Thibodeau?
To be honest, I don't think it would have been different. No, because I don't really think that there's much. Tibbs is a good coach. He has problems not only with how he handles his minutes, but with in-game adjustments as well. Has been a problem with Tibbs in the past. But I thought actually he took a step forward this past playoffs with at least that component of things. But that being said, I mean, the way he handled Mitchell Robinson was critical to New York beating Boston and whatever playoff success they had. So that being said, health is wealth, right? And with the Knicks, if they're not going to be healthy, they're not going to do what they need to do. And so I think, at this point, he may have been losing the locker room, because I don't see how you can fire a coach like that with that degree of success and every year making it further and further, unless there's some inkling that maybe he's lost the locker room a little bit. And so maybe Mike Brown.
It must have been because of him rolling out the bench the way that he did.
It's possible. But I think Mike Brown has a good reputation as a player's coach, maybe better than Tibbs does. And so maybe that's what the franchise just thought, that these guys don't really need an authoritarian at this point. They need someone who's a colleague, more or less, and who's going to coach them hard, but, treat them like a colleague, not as, like they're college boys on a Villanova.
There was supposedly there were reports came out that supposedly there was some guys that weren't in love with him. It kind of came off as, I just think they're like, look, I know our bench isn't super deep, but you can't play us 42 minutes every single night. By the time the playoffs come, they just don't have enough left in the tank. And honestly, wasn't even surprised they lost to Indiana. They're just so much deeper. They use their bench so much more. They have much more of a bench than the Knicks did last year. So I didn't even think they're going to win that series for that reason. Like, it sucks for Brunson because he's known Thibodeau since he was a young kid. Thibodeau, I think, coached or played with Rick Brunson. His daddy was an assistant on the team. So he's known Tibbs a very, very long time. But
you have to think, Jake. You have to think that Brunson must have been tired. I mean, like, is it that easy to say? Like, how many minutes did Brunson play, especially during those playoffs? He must have been absolutely gassed. And so like, you must have think that Brunson would say, go to Tibbs' ear and say, hey, I need a couple more minutes rest here because I'm running on fumes.
Well, in fact, Mikal Bridges at one point in the middle of the season, he basically said that, like, hey, I think you should play me a little bit, a lot of us a few minutes less, and use some of these other guys. It came out to the media, and yeah, I just think a lot of guys felt that just like I don't think it was like that like, oh, we're hurting or I don't want to play. I think they want to win. I just think they're like there's 15 spots on a roster, and you got guys like Landry Shamet and a couple of guys like that really would never really get into the game. He didn't really use them until like deep into the playoffs, because otherwise their season was going to end unless he made an adjustment. And he tried to do it, didn't end up working out in the long run, obviously. I think for a while they were like, Landry Shamet, he's not a great player, but he belongs on the NBA roster. He's not a bad guy to have to play 10 or 15 minutes. He's not even getting into a game. It's like, at least try and use him. I think that kind of irked a lot of the guys, and I think Leon Rose and the front office thought we are running out of time to win a championship. NBA windows are very small because of the CBA, and they didn't think Tibbs was the guy to do that for them. So they decided, even though we took them to their first Eastern Conference final in 25 years, unfortunately, a change had to be made, I guess.
Yeah, certainly. And I am intrigued about how much of a difference maker Mike Brown will be, because as you guys were saying, he seems to be a player's coach. What is the panel's thoughts on Cooper Flagg? It is so intriguing to me. Look, I don't know about you three. I don't follow college basketball at all, especially now that they're at the point of one and dones. And like I knew Cooper Flagg went to Duke. Beyond that, I don't know. So, but everybody has been talking about this kid and that he's the next Dirk. He's the next Luka. There was all this shadiness that happened with Luka going to the Lakers and then Dallas getting the first.
There was definitely some sketchiness and back office stuff happening.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
The stat that I read about the chance of the Mavericks even landing a spot to get Cooper Flagg in the draft was 1.8%.
Right.
I'm like, are you freaking serious? Like, no, there's no way.
There's been a couple of times stuff like that's happened in the lottery. There's been like a few times like a team traded a really star player and they ended up getting the first pick. Like when the Cavs, I think when they, right after LeBron left, they ended up getting the first pick and they got Kyrie Irving. There was like when the
there was New Orleans and Anthony Davis.
Yeah,
and then
that's another one when the when the Pelicans traded him, they got the first pick, which was Zion. He's been hurt a lot, but coming out, we thought he was going to be like something really, really special. And Dallas, the Luka one's the most suspicious to me, just because there's no I can't put together why Nico Harrison would think this is even a relatively serviceable idea.
Okay, sorry, Jake. Let's play devil's advocate for a second. I mean, now I haven't seen Luka in preseason. Watching preseason any sport is against my religion, but apparently Luka Doncic is all shredded now.
He's super lean. Yeah.
He looks a lot thinner.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you guys think that he would be that lean if he was in Dallas? There is a part of me that thinks that he was completely dogging it. The team. Now, this is just a pure hunch. I have nothing to back this up on. Isn't it at all possible that the team had said to Luka, like, lay off the burgers? He didn't want to, and they told him to take a hike?
I don't think so, because Luka didn't ask for a trade. He was flabbergasted when the trade happened. I mean, I know at one point he had gotten really heavy, like when he got hurt, he missed a few weeks. But it wasn't like they were telling him you can't play until you lose weight. I mean, for what it's worth, the guy was averaging 29 points a game while looking like my dad, basically. With the stomach he's got. But I mean, look, I think when it comes to Luka, if they'd traded him in the offseason, I wouldn't have been that surprised. I could see why you would want to give a big contract to a guy who is not doing a good enough job to keep his body in shape, doesn't play any defense. In the playoffs a few times, did not get the job done. Like in the finals, he was really bad. But you're coming off a finals berth, you're having a decent year. He's putting up his normal numbers. He was hurt at the time, but he was working his way back. Pretty much the same team you had the year before that was in the finals. And the fact that and also what he traded them for, your reason for trading him was because, we're worried about, his durability. And you brought back the most indurable maybe player in basketball, in Anthony Davis. Like, come on, buddy. What are we doing?
Yeah,
Kristine, Neel,
Davis.
I guess you two.
Anthony Davis has been part of all these conspiracy trades. The one that he goes to the Lakers, so look at it. The superstar player goes to the Lakers in his prime. Other team gets the top pick, drafts prodigy. Again, the history repeats itself. Superstar player in his prime goes to the Lakers. Other team gets to draft prodigy. And so that time it was Zion. That was a flop. Cooper Flagg will not be a flop, in my estimation. He will be a
How do we know?
Unless he gets injured, some freaking.
He's going to be an absolute stud because he doesn't like crab legs as much as Zion does, and with the extra butter. But no, Cooper Flagg, he's a fantastic phenom. The guy plays both ends elite. And he's an elite playmaker for where he's at. So he's got playmaking, he's got scoring, he's got rebounding, and he's got defense. His basketball IQ is off the charts. He knows how to make teams better. He's additive or super additive. He's not a net negative in any area of the court on either end. And so regardless of how great he will become, even as a rookie, I see him being a solid foundational piece to whatever run these guys are trying to make, and a legitimate third option behind these two superstars that they currently have otherwise in AD and Kyrie. And Kyrie's going to be out for the first 6 months or so, 8 months, whatever it is, and Cooper's going to have a huge role, and it's going to prepare him for when Kyrie comes back, and hopefully they're all healthy and can actually do something. It would be fun to see. But yeah, I mean, I've laid down my conspiracy theories on this podcast numerous times.
And we appreciate that, Neel. Thank you.
I'm disgusted by it. And like Jake said, Nico Harrison, Rob Pelinka came out after they made the trade, and Pelinka said, I'd really like to thank Nico Harrison for his ability to keep our talks secret. Like, why are you thinking him again? Oh, yeah, okay, I can see why you're thinking him, but why were these talks secret? Why were you the only person he talked to? There were other teams out there that could have offered triple the package. But unless I do was a known part of that package in some back channels.
And look, I completely hear you, and I agree with you, Kristine. I don't know if you want to jump in, but with regards to Zion, I don't believe that to be any sort of conspiracy, because the Knicks were a lottery team as well. And I'm sure, because nobody had John Morant as, I don't know if you want to call him elite, because especially he's been hurt, he's been screwing around with guns and all that sort of thing. But I mean, if the NBA really wanted to screw over and really tilt the talent, they would have rigged it so that the Knicks would have had that first overall pick, draft Zion, and then the New Orleans would have gotten RJ Barrett. Anyway, I digress. Kristine, I don't know. What are your thoughts on the conspiracy, Cooper Flagg, and
the conspiracy that I kind of, I don't want to say agree to, but I kind of see merit in is, and maybe the stats are wrong, I don't know what the numbers are, but LA has they have the most eyes, I think, in the NBA. That's kind of what I read. And I think when the whole Luka trade happened, in their mind, they're like, oh, shoot, LeBron's aging out. He's going to retire next year. We need to bring a superstar to LA, get more eyes on them. This market is huge in the NBA. And they kind of make that deal with the Mavs and Nico to be like, hey, we F you over. We'll give you the first pick so you can have Cooper. And then you kind of have your superstar now that we've taken him away to LA. So I kind of see merit in this conspiracy theory because at the end of the day, it's money for Adam Silver. It's dollars. Like with this whole streaming stuff, I'm like, it makes no sense, to be honest, in my opinion. But for Adam, at the end of the day, it's just dollars and ice. And I think for him, he needs to preserve whatever it is in LA to make sure there's always eyes on the league.
I
That's
hear
just me.
you. No, sure, and
Yeah.
it's definitely valid, but the Knicks have been non-existent. I mean, they haven't won a championship since '73, and have really not been on the radar at all for the past 20 plus years. And San Antonio has been killing it, and the NBA has done quite well. I get it, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just an optimist. What's the word I'm looking for? Optimist, hopeful. Anyway, whatever. But we will get into Adam Silver in a second. But hey, Kristine, I mean, I don't know about you, and I'm not saying that the Raptors are going to win
They're
the
not
championship again.
this year. It's not going to be for like another decade plus, I think, in my
But
opinion.
fair enough. But I'm thinking that they're going to be top 6 for sure. I really believe that with that starting lineup, with a healthy Ingram,
Yeah.
Quickly, Barrett, Scotty Barnes, you got Grady Dick coming off the bench, Mogbo, Abaji. I'm not too convinced with Pirtle as a starting center, but what are your thoughts on the season? Because I think it'd be a disappointment if they have to do the playoff series, especially if they miss the playoffs.
Yeah.
What do you
I always have like a cautious optimism. I think that was what you're looking for, I think. A cautious optimism for the Raptors every year. And so again, I'm going to go back to this whole thing about chemistry. Darko's great. I think I've seen him speak. I used to work for MLSC, so I've been part of like the whole media crap. So I've seen him speak to people. I'm like, okay, yeah, he's pretty engaging, whatever. He gets his people, rallies his crew. Like, but again, there's a lot of new faces. They haven't played together for very long. So I think for me, it's just about chemistry. And I'm excited to watch the Raptors. I've always been excited to watch every new season. And I think for me, I think for me, best case scenario for this crew is probably play-in, and that's me being a cautious optimist.
Yeah, Neel.
That's just me.
I'm with you, Randy. I think I'm more optimistic. I'm a what's the opposite of cautious?
I don't know. Unconscious. Go ahead.
Irrational. I'm an irrational optimist. Sometimes I'm an irrational pessimist, but I'm either an irrational pessimist or an irrational optimist. This year, I'm an irrational optimist because
oh, nice.
The last 2 years were horrendous and terrible and just a shit show every single. Although that being said, I do like the fight that this team had when they had all these kind of bench guys basically fighting in every game and giving good teams a run for their money in a lot of these games without any stars, with Scotty resting, Pirtle injured, all these guys. IQ was out for most of the year. So I really do like our starting lineup. Now, I've never been that high on IQ, but I am higher than you are on Pirtle. I think he's a really above average starting center. And for the type of team we have, he brings a lot. Now, that doesn't mean he can't be a trade piece. That doesn't mean Quickly can't be a trade piece, or any of these guys except Scotty, really. But Ingram has impressed me with. I know that he's had some very good moments in the NBA. He's just either been injured sometimes or in bad situations, and I think that you're going to probably see the best version of him that you've seen in his career this year, health permitting. And he adds a lot to the Raptors. But then again, you do see going up and on this lineup, you see some redundancy between his game and Scotty's, between Scotty's and Carl and Murray Boyles, for example. There's some of that redundancy, but then again, they do a lot of things well, and you can't have too much of the things they do well. Spacing is going to be an issue. Shooting is going to be an issue. And Grady and IQ really have to step up their games and be consistent shooters for this to work and for that projection that we have to be reached. I also like Darko. Do I think he is a guy that can lead a long playoff run. I don't know yet. I have doubts, but I do like the guy, and I think that, you know, he's passionate about what he does. And so I'm very optimistic about this season because I think Colin Murray Boyles is potentially going to come down as one of the top 3 or 4 guys taken in this draft. A lot of it depends on it, but then again, the Raptors have a very good history with development. And so you take that into account, you put winning culture into account, and a guy like that who does all the dirty work that one would want. He's like a nice guy version of Draymond in some ways. And he really is an athletic beast, defensively particularly. So I think it's going to be fun, man. They like Kristine said, I think that the chemistry is high with this team. The vibes are high. They enjoy each other, and they're going to fight. And I think that you're going to see a lot of wins against some good teams, and I think you're going to see a plus 500 record. And you're going to see us in that 6th spot, exactly, maybe 5th. But I probably would not go higher than that.
Yeah. And
this all depends on health, by the way.
Sure, it depends on health, and there is something about Murray Boyles that I like as well. You took the words right out of my mouth, Neel, with regards to how well the Raptors have developed their draft picks, and I don't know. Call me crazy. I think Chloe Kitts. I think she's going to be. I think she's going to be drafted by the Toronto Tempo. But you know, and that'd be really cool.
Randy strikes again.
Say it again.
Conspiracy Randy strikes again.
What conspiracy? Me? I ain't no conspiracy. You guys were the one dropping.
That's true. That's true. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club.
Yeah. But and Jake, not so much a conspiracy here, but you know, there's a lot. There has been the news that has surfaced in the off season was definitely a bad look for the NBA. You talk about everything going on with the LA Clippers and Kawhi Leonard and some extra monies that he had potentially received for signing with those Clippers. And then you got Adam Silver saying that he's going to ship the television rights of NBA games to streaming services, meaning fans would have to take more out of their pocket. And Adam Silver's response was, well, you can go to YouTube and you can see all the 3-minute highlights, and really had no response to the additional money that fans have to shell out. I mean, we're going to start with you, Jake. I mean, between the Clippers, Adam Silver, maybe there is something else, another topic that I didn't mention. In terms of damage control, who has the biggest ditch to get out of here?
I think it's, to get out of, the biggest hole to climb out of is probably the Clippers. They're in some hot water. This whole thing of Kawhi hasn't worked, but Adam Silver, first of all, Adam Silver is a joke. He sucks at his job. He is a
complete Why do you say that, Jake? Why do you say that?
He's done nothing for the league. He's done nothing. He is maybe the worst leader for a sports league I've maybe ever seen. He is garbage.
Now, wait a minute. Now, because you have said the same thing. You've said the same thing about Rob Manfred.
You're damn right I have. Silver has slowly become worse than him. He is so unbelievably horrid. By the way, I'm not sure if Randy's frozen on y'all's ends too. He's right now frozen. That's
he's frozen on mine too.
That's a great face that he's.
He's a great pose.
Hi. Yeah, sorry.
Technology.
So sorry about that.
That's hilarious.
All good.
Yeah.
You had the most epic pose. Your face and pose when you froze. It was there for like 5 minutes. It was unbelievable. I took a picture. I'll send it to you.
Thank God. I that happened. But sorry, Jake, you were talking about Adam Silver sucking the bag here, and you said the same thing about Manfred. So, what gives? Personally, I think Manfred, if he's responsible for the changes in baseball, I'm all about it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I do think Manfred is a bit of a dickhead. I don't like him. But baseball has not been bad recently. With the things like the pitch clock was a great move, and for what it's worth, like like you said, some of the rule changes he's put in have actually helped the game. I think the CBA is still a mess. I think we're going to a lockout after next year. But I don't think he's a good commissioner, but he's the game has done a little bit better recently on him with Silver. It's just he's brutal. The guy's just brutal. And
what's he missing out on, Jake? I mean he's brutal because of why?
He's just such a terrible leader for the league. Just the way he's handled a lot of things, just so bad, and just basketball. It's gotten so bad with like the CBA that they sign. I can't believe they would sign up for that. It's just windows are so short. The fact that you can't pay players a certain amount of money, I don't like it. And there's no defense played, and it's terrible. It's so bad. I don't like the play-in. I think the guy's the biggest joke on the planet Earth. He's a horrible commissioner.
I mean, Neel, Kristine, what do you guys think? Because I'm kind of with you on the effort that NBA players have put. It has been really non-existent. The All-Star game, I will never, ever in life watch the All-Star game.
It's like watching preschoolers play ball.
Absolutely.
It is
terrible.
And
ridiculous thing to watch.
And the thing that really gets to me is that the players really want to be a part of the All-Star game and are lobbying to have fans vote for them. They get to the game, and it's that something has to be done for sure. With the play-in, though, I like the play-in. I do like the play-in. I think the play-in just adds an extra element of playoff basketball. It gives more excitement and such. But Neel, Kristine, what do you guys think about Adam Silver as a whole, as commissioner?
I had a stronger opinion of him earlier in his tenure. I think his tenure started with, we're talking about the Clippers here. His tenure kind of took its first win after he got rid of Sterling, and all that. And, I thought that, at the start, much like a new coach, he had all the players' ears and they were supporting him. And he had come up under David Stern and was like a more peaceful, less authoritarian version of David Stern, or that's what at least he was primed to be. But part of me then also think he fell into the player empowerment trap a little bit, and he forgot a little bit of what his role is, which David Stern exemplified, is that they're not supposed to be the players' friends. They're supposed to respect you. And they all respected Stern and they feared him. Anytime Stern would call one of these guys, star or not, into his office, you knew that these guys were sweating going up that elevator in New York. But so I think that, some of the decision making lately has been poor. The handling of the All-Star game has been terrible. They had one good All-Star game the first year where they did that fourth quarter up system, like the Big Three. The first year of that was excellent. After that, it didn't replicate itself. And I don't know, but with all that being said, I'm not sure anyone would have done a better job. A lot of what has happened in the NBA is relating to the players and player empowerment more than it is, I think, anything that a single commissioner could just dictate. And so, yeah, I had a stronger opinion of him early on and not so much now, although I think he's pretty good. I wouldn't go as far as Jake's going with some of those vitriol that he's putting down, but I wouldn't say that he's exemplary by any means. He's good and bad.
Kristine, what about you?
I think maybe he's just bored with his job now at this point. How long has he been the commissioner? 10 years?
Andrew Wiggins was his first draft. No, yeah.
10 or
About
12.
10 years.
Mm.
I don't know. I just think he's just bored with his job. And I don't know if this is true, but was it last year or the year before? He was teasing that they would introduce a 4-point line or something. And I'm like, that's the most dumbest thing I've heard. I'm like, please don't do that. I know the players are just launching threes left, right, and center, but please don't introduce a 4-point line. But I think with Adam Silver, I think he's just bored. That's the other side of it. The second side of it is I think he's just lost touch with fans in general, just fan engagement in general. Like that video of like, the last 3 minutes just is NBA is a highlight sport. I'm like, why would you say that about your own league? Like, these guys play 48 minutes, well, more than 48 minutes, but 48 minutes a game. They go out, play with heart, and you're telling the fans that love their players so much, oh, if you can't afford to watch us, just go on YouTube and watch the clips or the highlights. It's a 3-minute highlight game. I'm like, you're basically just talking down about the league that you lead. And I would have to mirror what Jake said. I think he's just not a really good leader. I'm like, I mean, personally as a leader, if I said, oh, my team's not that great, you don't need to pay attention to them, I'm like, that would be shitty. And I think it essentially is basically what it is. He goes, you don't need to watch the whole game. Just go on YouTube and watch some clips. I'm like,
but I mean, Kristine, like NFL games are going on streaming services. How long is it going to be? MLS is doing that. Like, I was really into Toronto FC. They go to Apple TV, and between Apple TV and especially Jake, within this country, you have DAZN covering. I think it's the Premier League, and then you have another streaming service covering La Liga. The Canadian Domestic League is another streaming service. Then I'm supposed to get Apple TV for soccer. I like soccer, but I mean that's going to be like $120 a month on one sport. But like you'd have
Apple
to think
TV
that.
sucks.
Oh, does it really? Because I don't even know. But I mean,
It's
like
so
you have
bad.
to. Is it? But I mean, you have to think that all four of these leagues, guys, are going to be going down this road, don't you think?
Yeah, it's already starting in the NFL. They put a game or two on Netflix. They put a game here or there on Peacock. Baseball's got Apple TV every Friday night. It's the worst broadcast in the history of mankind. I watched a Met game in like June on Apple TV. I got a free trial. I had like a week to cancel it. I canceled it within 5 minutes after the game ended. I'm like, I'm not taking a chance. I forget and have to pay for this crap. It was embarrassing. I went to school at Sacred Heart. Excuse me. I worked a lot of athletic broadcasts. Their student-run broadcasts and those broadcasts were 100% better than Apple TV. It was honestly embarrassing. I was embarrassed as a sports media student that there's professionals that are putting this out there.
It's funny you say that, Jake, because Tony, who of course you know very well, he said that the Apple broadcast for MLS is really good.
It's a little better. Their little transition is really bad. Like it's like I have a logo, like when I do like a replay or something, that it drives me crazy. It's better. I mean, I also don't watch soccer. I'm not a soccer guy, but the broadcast. Yeah. But my roommate in college is a bigger soccer fan than I am, so a few times I would watch a game with him. And their broadcast is a little bit better, but also that transition is really ugly. It's really bad, and just their baseball broadcast is dreadful, beyond dreadful.
But you have to think that the rest of these leagues are going to post a lot of their games on separate streaming sites, and it's going to mean more money spent on these leagues, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
That's the way things are going.
So, I mean, like, what's Manfred going to say? What's Roger Goodell going to say? What's Gary Bettman going to say? Suck it up, Buttercup, right? I mean, is there any sort of comment that Adam Silver could have thought of that was going to be more acceptable to what he said?
I mean, he could have said basically anything else. What he said, it's one thing if he says, to watch our games, you are going to have to buy the streaming services that a lot of people already have. What he said is, go watch the highlights of the game after the game. He basically said, don't watch. Okay, there's a difference between saying you got to have this streaming service to watch this game and that game. He basically said, don't watch. Like, that's one of the most pathetic responses I've ever heard. He just said, don't watch the game.
Yeah.
He said, go to YouTube and watch highlights.
Yeah. He said,
Well,
he
yeah,
said,
that is what
he said, don't watch the game.
Don't watch the game, watch the highlights. I'm like, but okay,
Yeah.
anyways, this stuff. Yeah.
Hopefully, what everybody is expecting won't happen, and that more money is spent to watch the various sports that we love. That being said, it is always free to. Now, of course, since my computer crashed on me here, I don't have my banner set up here. Yes, I do. It's time for Straight Facts, Bro. Relax. This is the final segment of the show, and Kristine, this is going to be your first experience with Straight Facts, Bro. Relax. So basically, I'm going to drop a statement. You're going to say either Straight Facts or Bro. Relax, and then you're going to tell me why. And Jake, of course, you were tickled pink when those rival New York Yankees were eliminated by the Toronto Blue Jays, and of course, everybody, every New York Yankee fan, is calling for Aaron Boone's head again. But he is 200 games over 500 in his managerial career. His Yankees did go to the World Series in 2024. The 2025 season, he does not have Juan Soto. He does not have Garrett Cole. They did make it to the playoffs, and lost in the in the tiebreaker to the Toronto Blue Jays for a first seed in the AL. Why fire him? Jake, Aaron Boone will remain as Yankees manager for next season. Straight facts, bro. Relax.
Straight facts. They're never gonna fire that guy. Okay. All right. And by the way, he's not a good manager. Okay. He has this stacked team every single year. Their season is the same season. Every single season. The first 2 months, they play all these bad teams. They're great. The fans beat their chest. Like, hey, we're going to the World Series. And then the whole summer, they play some of the worst baseball you'll ever see. The same mental mistakes, same defensive mistakes, same issues every single year. They win just enough games just to get into the playoffs, and they come up short every single year. He does not know how to manage a bullpen to save his life. But Hal Steinbrenner is not the same owner that his dad was. He just loves dollar signs and ticket sales, which with the Yankees, he could lock himself in a closet the whole season and they'd still have these crazy ticket sales. They have the Yankees. They're the biggest brand in baseball, maybe the biggest brand in sports. The one that really compares is probably the Dallas Cowboys, and that's in a different sport. So, and Aaron Boone is a yes man. That's why they like him. So, unless the fact that he survived a 2023 season when they won like 82 games is just mind-boggling. I don't see at this point who knows when that guy's getting fired. But yes, he will be the manager come 2026.
And I think a great example is the Toronto Blue Jays, because a lot of people were calling for John Schneider's head, and I think he is the front runner to win AL Manager of the Year. So, I mean, why they were percentage points away from getting the first seed in the AL, and if the players aren't producing, then why is it really the manager's fault? Anyway, it'll be interesting with what they do with Aaron Boone, the New York Yankees. So, Neel, we did go into detail about the NBA, and of course, the NBA All-Star Game is a real problem, especially the competitive level for that game. You could say the same thing about the NHL All-Star Game, but the past season in hockey, the, dare I say, North America, the hockey world was really captivated with the Four Nations face-off. Now, this is a one-off event, but the effort that those players put grabbed a lot of attention, especially from big decision makers in the NBA. The rumor is that I don't know, I apologize, I don't know if it's confirmed if there will be a new element to the All-Star game for basketball, but it's believed that it will be American players versus the world. Could this be the kick in the pants that the NBA needs? Neel, the effort of NBA players will increase significantly if the All-Star game is USA versus the world. Straight facts, bro, relax.
I'm hesitant whenever it comes to the All-Star game about anything being a good idea, but for this, I will say straight facts. And the reason I say that is twofold. Number one, you watch any All-Star game, you see mostly the flashy American players jumping, shooting threes from half court, all the wonderful lobs we like to see before we want to see a competitive fourth quarter. We all know what the first three quarters are like. Just keep the game relatively close and play hard in the fourth. That's a dream for any NBA fan. It's the most we can ask for. We don't get that, though. And a lot of times I notice that the European or international players, they're watching all these guys doing this flashy, jivey stuff, and they kind of couldn't care less. It looks like they're a little apathetic about the game itself. They don't really care if they play 5 minutes and just, shoot a couple threes, a couple rebounds, and pick me out, coach. I don't, their time, they want to rest and whatnot. But throw them on a team together and with all the Americans on the other side, and we'll see how that plays out, because they're going to play with better structure. They're going to have better fundamentals. They have the best players in the world. The world does. The last, 8 MVPs or whatever it is have all been international. And I think that just the fact that, they're up against all these flashy Americans who talk a big game, AAU trained, still got some of that AAU in them, not that hard-nosed, in the dungeon training that these European guys had. I think that not only would they get up more for it from that perspective, but the American guys would be forced to step up against their will, because these European guys are not going to be backing out. Europeans and Shea, of course, and whoever else international. But I think it would be fantastic, because it would be a different element. I think both sides have reasons, whether it's reactive or not, to the other side, of putting in more effort and playing with a greater sense of pride, because all of a sudden, you're in a way not really respecting or not. Well, the U.S. American players are playing for their country now, and everyone in America is going to be cheering them on, and then the world, it's sort of like playing not necessarily for your country, but for like the allies of the rest of the world against the big behemoth, which is the USA. So I think it's a fun little wrinkle. I think it has potential to be really good. And frankly, I think it's the best idea that's come along in a while. I just don't know how they would exactly make the teams even, because what if you have 14 out of the 24 All-Stars are American? What are those extra 2? Do they send those last 2 guys that they don't want to the world side, and then?
Sorry, I didn't catch what I didn't.
I'm just saying, if there's an uneven number of world versus American All-Stars, how do you?
Well, that's not. You're not going to get that. You're not going to get like how many make the All-Star game per side? 15, 12? Yeah. 12. So I mean, no, you're going to get 12 and 12.
So you're saying every year you're going to have exactly 12 world All-Stars and 12 American All-Stars? Yeah. So some American guy who may be more deserving than the last world guy, or vice versa, is going to get cut because of their nationality?
That was actually the question I wanted to pose to you three. So let's say, okay, and it's definitely valid, but okay, and I guess is LeBron going to miss a couple of weeks with the sciatica? Yeah. But let's say LeBron, KD, Steph, let's say all 3 of them played every single game. Is it a lock that those 3 are going to make that All-Star team, make that USA team? When you have Anthony Edwards, potentially Cooper Flagg, John Morant, if they're a shell of them former selves, there could be a possibility that they now make that USA team, no?
I think they'll be on it.
They make it every year. The fans love
But
it.
no. But every year, Kristine. I mean, it's their conference or it's the schoolyard pickup. It's not USA.
Wait, Randy, are you talking about the All-Star team?
Like if the All-Star game was USA versus the world, and the league, or I don't even know if it's going to open up to fans. It doesn't necessarily have to be fan voting, but 12 now. The caveat now, the irony is because Tatum, Lillard, and Halliburton are all injured. If those three, especially Tatum and Halliburton, if they were healthy, I would put them as more of a lock than LeBron, especially if he's having a LeBron, like a non-LeBron like season.
Yeah, but assuming you take out fan voting, that's the only way that would happen.
Yeah,
sure, of course, yeah.
But then LeBron, I think, still garners a lot of respect even among coaching circles, that they might tie break him with a lot of guys.
But who cares? Like, if I'm a coach, who cares? Who cares what you think? Like, who's
No, I understand. I think that he would. It would be a mirror. He'd have to be injured basically for most of the year leading up to the All-Star game to make it. And that's just the same with KD. Same thing with Steph.
Yeah.
These guys are just kind of locks for the rest of their career. It's just kind of they've built that much clout, deserve it or not. In the case of KD, but Steph and LeBron certainly are deserving of that level of clout. As much as you may have issues with who they are or whatever. LeBron, I'm talking about LeBron.
Sure.
No, I think that it'd be interesting to see how the team selection occurs, to see how, let's say they get smacked up by the world in the first year, all of a sudden it becomes a real thing. Like the Americans want their revenge the next year. How are they going to parlay this? How, does it make them play harder during the season to be on that team? Does it become an event that, people really want to be a part of it? I mean, we're wishful thinking here. This is irrational optimism at its finest, but yeah, I guess you got to see it to try it out to see.
Yeah,
that's true.
I've always said that I would just love to see this as a 7-game series, and that this tournament be played in Europe, Serbia.
Like
that
honestly,
would just be fun during the summer. During the summer,
but honestly, like
during the off season,
put Shea, Wemby, Jokic,
Luka,
Giannis, and Luka. Put those 5 guys in the starting lineup. There's no American 5 that's going to beat that team.
That's true. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Well, okay. Off the top of my head, now if everybody was healthy,
you need the bench contributions to potentially swing the game.
Yeah, off the top of my head, maybe Anthony Edwards, Halliburton, Morant.
That's not.
I mean, no, it's not. It's not. It's not. But I mean, like, who are those top guys for the U.S.? I mean,
that's a problem for them. I think reputation wise, it'd be potentially some it may misfire because you're literally putting the Americans out there against hungry pit bull dogs
which is why
are better than you.
Which is why the league should tell LeBron, KD, and Steph to go to Bahamas for that weekend.
LeBron might voluntarily say, I don't want to play in the All-Star game because he doesn't want to take that L.
Yeah.
That's true. That too. Yeah. Hey, anyway, wonder what's going to happen come All-Star weekend. Finally, Kristine, so you saw how Jake and Neel handled this final segment, and we talked about the Raptors. We talked about Darko Rajaković. I am personally a Darko fan. I think he does have the attention of the team, and I'm expecting good things from Rajaković and the Raptors. But will he have the ability to lead the team closer to the Holy Grail? Kristine, throughout his entire tenure as Raptors head coach, Darko Rajaković will lead the Raptors to a conference semifinal. Straight facts, bro, relax.
Again, this is my cautious optimism. I say, bro, relax. And I mean, I've only seen like one preseason game. And my answer is just really based on, again, cautious optimism. And the team just really needs to gel and also like build a lot of chemistry together. They haven't played together for very long, obviously. And I think for me, best case scenario for me for the Raptors this year, I'm going to say this, I'm answering this question as of this year. I would say like maybe first round. That's my cautious optimism.
First round. So, but
Maybe
you're
first
thinking
round.
that like they are not going to be top 4. Where do you think they're going to finish up? Top? Because I'm thinking top 6. I'm thinking top 6 in the conference. I think it'd be a disappointment if the Raptors have to.
I say 6 or 7. Oh, 6 or 7. I'm going to tell that my nephew said it. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know.
I listened to my nephews for like 2 weeks, and they kept saying it for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
it just means middle of the ground,
TikTok,
sir. It's just like mid, basically. So like they'll either play 6 or 7, and in my opinion, I think.
Okay, so I'm sorry, 6-7 means mid.
It's just like average.
It's a TikTok. There's a TikTok at it with like LaMelo Ball and like the song said it in it. Now all these 12-year-olds think it's the coolest thing ever when they say it.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know. My nephews
This thing came about because of LaMelo Ball.
It was like a TikTok edit with like of LaMelo Ball and the song playing said 6-7 in it, and all the 12-year-olds on TikTok thought it was the coolest thing ever. So now they're just all saying it.
Yeah, 2 weeks. That's all I heard for 2 weeks.
Dear God, thank you so much for making me 46 years of age. What the hell is it? Anyway, whatever. But anyway, that is your answer.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And
this year.
When the Raptors finish top 6, Kristine, you owe Neel and myself a beer.
Sure.
So
whiskey. I'm not really a beer drinker, but whiskey. Let's go for whiskey. There you
Sounds go. Oh, perfect. Neel, party time. Thank you so much, guys. Kristine, I hope you had a great time.
This was fun.
So much. Yeah, I really appreciate it, and love to have you back on one of these days.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll catch up during the season and have another chat.
Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome. Jake, Neel, appreciate you as always. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Cheers, Randy.
Thanks, Randy.
Thanks, Randy.
For Neel Katarey, Jake Cardinale, and Kristine Sansano, I am Randy Kure. This is a Voice of the Fans Canada. Hope you're doing well and keeping safe. We will talk to you next time.